Welcome back to Spec, and we're looking today at Heroic Combat. Now this continues our missions from the Warhammer Conquest magazine, continuing the Conquest Combats. That's a lot to say. Right, we are introducing our first character, the Lieutenant. In the particular magazine, it was Lieutenant Calcius. I've repainted mine to be something different. It does not matter. We'll be using the rules from the magazine. The rules, speaking of rules, his special ability means that he has an aura that allows models from the Space Marine side to reroll ones when wounding, but only once. Also, he carries a weapon which is a power sword. When this wounds, it can only be saved by a Plague Marine on a 6. It's very, very sharp. So this is the setup we have. We have the Poxwalkers, Death Guard Plague Marines, the Lieutenant, and the Intercessors. Now this is the second side of the mat. It's been flipped over and we've placed the objects on. I put them on a bit earlier to help with those people that find it a bit hard to see that they're blocking line of sight terrain. So we're going to make a start. As it's an ambush, the Poxwalkers began first. So let's advance the Poxwalkers first and then move these in position where they have lines of fire. And I think that getting them in the middle and deciding where to go from there is probably best, or maybe chucking them around this side so they've got line of fire. Alright, advancement. Well, that's a lot better than last time, and I'll move these now and then come back once these have been moved. This is where everybody ends up. Now, although they have a clear line of sight to Lieutenant, he is not actually the closest model to them, and that's one of the special rules as characters. If they're not the closest model, you can't fire on them. So a bit of clever deployment there. If you're ever doing that, you can put your main troops behind cover. If need be, you know, leave your character out, unless they have some form of psychic power, which is line of sight requirement, and it's the closest in line of sight. Other than that, so that's the Death Guard's turn. Could have advanced them, I didn't. Okay, we're going to move all of these guys around, so let's bring a Lieutenant over here. He could take care of this, but then these guys won't get their bonuses, so let's move them up through here and go from there. This is the movement. They are made sure to keep them within 6 for re-rolling their wound rolls of 1, because that'd be very handy. One of these models are in rapid fire range. Death Guard over here, and he can still see these guys to fire a shot and at the same time make his charge here. If I shoot one of these, I would remove the closest model to make that charge longer. So let's get to shooting. We have one rapid fire, the other shots going into this unit over here from the Intercessors. Let's roll. So hits on 3s, wounds on 5s, re-roll 1s. So we got nothing there. Lieutenant's turn. Hits, same, fails, no problem, charge a block. Let's roll up, charge, that makes that in, and I want to see if I can charge these guys into here so they can get cover, and they get a 10, so let's just check that. That should be fine. Let's get those all moved in. That's after the charge, and that keeps them out of fire, so if they don't take down these Plague Marines, they won't be able to fire back this turn. So let's start off with Lieutenant. There's 4 attacks. They all hit. Wounded on 3s. They all wound. And it's just a 5+, disgustingly resilient. One of them survives. That's 3 removed. So let's remove these 3. That'll force the Intercessors to move forward, because they will have to pile in. Maybe should have removed those 3, but I was trying to eliminate their attacks. Either way, it doesn't matter too much. Now they have 6 attacks. Again, because they charge, they get to attack first. These are hits. Wounding on 3s, re-rolling 1s. That's a Lieutenant ability to re-roll that 1, and right there, that's a wound. So again, Poxwalkers disgustingly resilient, and 2 survive, and 3 go down. And that's that unit. Now I want to move these models 3 inches closer, because I want to ensure, if they were further back maybe, just to ensure that he wasn't the closest model Lieutenant, because then they could shoot at the character. So let's move them 3 inches. There's no real towards closest model, just makes charges easier. You know what, let them come to us. Okay, Death Guard's turn. We can make this quick. Let's move out from behind cover. Let's move within 12. and they're going to fire. Just get used to moving the models within 12. Really, for Death Guard it's 18 because of one of their special abilities, but that gets added in later. In fact, let's move it closer even for the charge. We have a power fist, so that would be good. Alright then, let's fire away. So we'll start with a bright launcher. Misses. Continue with the bolt gun. Hits. Wounds on a 4. Wounds. Save on a 3+. Done. And that would have been to closest unit because it has no choice. Plasma pistol. I'm done. I'm finished. I'm done. Okay. Alright, okay. Okay, alright, okay. Okay. Clearly, that's the only thing that happens. Okay, right. They're gonna charge and they're gonna face Overwatch. The Lieutenant's ability also functions in Overwatch. So let's get these two in here. I mean, I've lost the power fist now. It is what it is. Target's declared. That was a 5 for a charge. 5 for a charge just makes it in. But let's see what happens in the Overwatch. So there's rapid fire. There are 3 hits. There's 1 wound. And re-roll that 1 for Lieutenant. 1 wound. And let's see what the save is. 2. It fails to save. Disgustingly resilient. 1. I'm sorry, this is not biased. This is just dice play here. Okay, so that's their turn. Space Marine's turn. I mean, this is just a total annihilation. They don't even need. Well, let's move them up because the power sword is actually quite potent and will easily be able to cut down that Death Guard model because it reduces his armor. Still has to wound, and that's the tough part. So rapid fire from these guys. So let's get 4 hits, wounds on 5s, reroll 1s. So that's 2 wounds, and let's see if they save. 1 fell, disgustingly resilient, made it, thankfully. Let's get on to Lieutenant. Turn. Hits, see if they can wound on a 5, no wound. Okay, charges. Let's charge the Marines in. At the end of the day, they could get in, they're a lot closer, and they could take the Overwatch. They've got 2 wounds, you can only do 1 wound possible. There you go, 11. Let's see what the Overwatch is. He fails to hit, but 11. So this is wrapping. So if you need to, and you have a unit that doesn't have many models, but they're probably likely to survive your attacks, to stop them from getting away and retreating, you can lock them up. If I now charge in the Lieutenant and block off this pathway here, he cannot leave combat at any point. And if you have a long trail of models, or models which can't really harm your characters or units, it's one of the best things to do to keep them safe from firepower, because quite often those armies which are weak in hand-to-hand combat have a lot of firepower. So let's charge him in, and makes the charge 6 inches. There we go. We'll start with the Lieutenant, see if we can get this over and done with. 4 attacks, all hit. Wounding on 5s, re-rolling 1s, 2 wounds, and he has a 6 to save. Loses power sword, 2 failures, 2 disgusting resilience, and there it is. That's game. What can I say? A lot of combat once it got in there, but at the end of the day, that plasma gun, I'm sorry, that's just hilarious. It's never going to stop being funny. Well, again, good strategies happened, but failing charges. I got the Poxwalkers close, but I think more are needed just for this scenario. But Extra Rules mission will be up next. Either way, I've had fun. Hope you've had fun. This has been Spec PC out.